Justice para sila po magpa-prosecute, no? Kasama na rin po ang DSWD, no? At iba pang ahensya tungkol po rito. Pinagsanib pwersa po ito at lahat gagalaw po rito. At importante po rito, of course, yung pagsusumbungan sa pinakababa sa barangay level, no? Kaya nga ito hanggang sa ngalan po ng DILG at sa ngalan po ng PNP, i-report ko lang po dahil mamaya sa Department of Justice, si Attorney Kit at si ASEC Miko po ang mag-explain about this. Meron po tayong mga VAUSI desk, no? Ano po itong VAUSI desk na ito? Ito yung Violence Against Women and Children. Ang importante kasi sabi nga ng Pangulo, saan magsusumbong yung bata? No? Kanino magsusumbong ito? At pagsumbong sa barangay, alam ba ng barangay kung anong gagawin? So dapat dito i-capacitate po natin. Kaya napag-usapan kahapon that gagawin po natin, i-capacitate po ito. In fact, ilalagay rin po natin ito as part of the seal of good local governance, no? Lalagyan po natin ng tinatawag na parameters ito sa lahat ng mga barangay at local government units sa buong Pilipinas. Yan po imamandato ng DILG na sila'y magkaroon ng mga seminars dito. Pangalawa is the adoption of ordinance. Ito muna ho sa ano ng DILG. Against OSAIC and CSAIM, no? Gagawin na rin po nating mandatory ito na magkaroon ng local ordinance at magkakaroon tayo ng template ng model ordinance para iba ay gayahin po nila. Hindi lamang po ito barangay, kasama na ang munisipyo, kasama na ho ang mga lungsod. Pangalawang indicators is the percentage ng local government unit staff at social service workforce who will be trained, no, to implement special child protection laws, no, including online sexual abuse, exploitation, and child sexual abuse or exploitation materials. So ilalagay din po namin ito as indicators, no, doon po sa aming child-friendly local governance na kinakailangan na matrain yung mga staff po nila dito. Tapos po, yung pong number of reports ng local social welfare development to whom a report of a suspected or alleged incidents made. Kailangan po i-document talaga po nila ito para malaman namin kung ano na po ang nangyari. Tapos meron pong pinapasang yung tinatawag po nating Local Code for Children. Dapat po i-include po itong Republic Act 11930, no? At of course sa kanilang mga program, project, and activities, no, kailangan kasama po ito, no, itong mga programa ito against children, lalo na yung tinatawag nating Safer Internet Day for Children of the Philippines. Kasi alam nyo, basta titingin ka ng internet ngayon, dapat din yung mga bata maging safe din dito, no? Ito yung responsibilidad ng mga magulang. Kung kaya ilalagay na rin namin to as one of those dito po sa mga gagawin namin programa, dito po sa DILG sa mga local government units. Sa ngalan naman ng mga kapulisan, sayang wala lang si Portia rito, napakagaling po, no? Siya ang head ng aming children and women's desk, no? Marami pong nagawang mga pag-aaresto, pagre-rescue ng mga bata. In fact, ang proseso po nito ay meron silang cyber patrolling. Pagkatapos ng cyber patrolling, titignan po nila mga nagre-report sa kanila at tapos po fa-file po nila ng mga kaso po ito. Pero ang importante po talaga rito sa ating mga kapulisyahan ay, sabi nga ng Presidente, bata iyan eh. Yung pagsusumbong, kasi kung minsan, hindi naman lahat ng bata pupunta sa pulis, magpupunta sa barangay. So dapat ma-identify natin kung sino yung kinakausap nila. At ito, ang mga sektor na ito ang talagang talagang isama natin sa programa. Kanina kausap po yung mga SK na numpa sila sa ating mahal na Pangulo. Tutulong po ang mga SK, mga youth, no? Kasi ultimo sila o sa mga kapitan natin, kailangan makapacitate din po sila rito. So briefly, pasensya na kayo, napahaba lang. Ito po ang ginagawa namin. At we just came from, galing lang ako sa United Nations, UNODC. No? Ito rin ang pinag-usapan just about a week ago. At may mga reports nga na yung sinabi kanina ni Daphne na medyo may problema tayo rito dahil may mga reports sa kanila ng isang NGO na medyo maraming kaso. Ang United Arab Emirates ay magbibigay sa atin sa police, nangako po sila ng 21 artificial intelligence programs, no? Kung saan mafi-filter natin lahat ng mga sumbong para maitukoy natin ano yung fake dito, anong hindi. Sino ba ito talaga? Kasi kung minsan yung mga reports hindi pala Philippines, ibang lahi pala. Kung minsan mga fake account ito, kung minsan nagdodoble, kung minsan luma na, no? So malaking tulong. And not only that, nagsisimula na po yung tumutulong po sila sa tools nito at saka mga programs ukol po rito, no? So yun po, at isa pang gusto ko sana sabihin, last na lang, na sinabi ko rin doon sa isang side event sa United Nations that ganit ang aming Pangulo rito, poproteksyonan natin ang mga bata. But if you're going to look at the cycle, ito yung mga batang binibiktima eh. Malaki dapat ang papel ng mga technological provider, Facebook, Meta, etc. Kinakailangan ang papel na rito, ma-take down nila to. At higit sa lahat, ang dapat maparusahan dito ay ang consumers. Ang mga aktual na nagda-download ng mga materialis ito ng mga minor. Kaya nga, I was asking in that meeting, I was asking for the UN, specifically yung mga bansa, no, to enact laws na talagang parusahan yung mga nagda-download o mga nagbabayad, lalo na dahil mga minor de edad to eh, mga bata ito. They should. Kung ang mga bata ay kawawa, dapat yung consumers talaga ay talagang maparusahan. Okay. Thank you, Daphne.
Okay, thank you, Secretary Abalos. Let's move on to the DOJ. Edikit?
So the meeting yesterday was actually a continuation ng unang meeting namin with the President noong April 24, 2024. So this time around, we showed to him yung action plan na magiging natin to combat OSAIC. And OSAIC, matagal na talagang nilalaban ito ng government. Kaya lang with the creation ngayon ng National Coordination Center against OSAIC and CSAIM, we were able to coordinate the members, the efforts of the member agencies and really understand yung nuances and complexities ng OSAIC. Nagkaroon kami ng mga strategy meetings kasama ng mga NCC OSAIC, CSAIM members at mga core group members at talaga inintindi namin ano talaga kailangan una nating i-prioritize para labanan ito. And we came up with 6 pillars, no po. The 6 pillars that we identified. So unang-unang pillar or area of prioritization is improvement on our referral pathways and mechanisms. Pangalawa po ay we need to also improve on our capacity building. Pangatlo, we have to improve on our communications. Number 4, on our aftercare services. Number 5, on our private sector engagement, katulad ng sinasabi ni Secretary Abalos kanina po. At number 6, on data harmonization. So unang-una, with regards to the referral pathways and mechanisms, para po ito i-streamline ang process of OSAIC reporting para po we can nip this crime in the bud. Tapos naman po sa capacity building initiatives, it's to ensure that our law enforcement, our judicial personnel, at our duty bearers are equipped with the necessary skills, tools, and support when handling OSAIC operations and conducting investigations and pursuing more convictions. Sa effective communication channels naman po, it's to facilitate collaboration among stakeholders while comprehensive aftercare services support victims on their path to recovery. Engaging private sector naman fosters a collective responsibility towards combating OSAIC, and harmonizing data ensures informed decision-making within the criminal justice framework. So with this action plan, we strongly believe that eventually we will be able to protect, heal, and reintegrate the child into the mainstream of society. Ang strengthening the criminal justice system is actually embedded within all 6 pillars. So if we are able to simultaneously implement all the interrelated 6 pillars, we will thereby also be strengthening our criminal justice system.
Okay, thank you. Assistant Secretary Clavano.
Hi, good morning to everyone. Daphne, Sec Benhur, Edikit, good morning. Just to add to what Sec Benhur and Edikit mentioned, klaro po yung naging direction ni Presidente, no? Ang sa kanya, protect the child and prosecute the perpetrators. Yun lang po yung dalawang emphasis niya dahil po yung 6 pillars na binanggit po ni Idikit, yun po yung siguro whole action plan, no? Holistic, kagaya nung sinabi ni Ma'am Daphne sa kanyang opening spiel. Whole of government approach is not enough. It has to be whole of nation, whole of society po, no? And just to emphasize on the points of the President yesterday, sa referral pathways, sabi ni Presidente, hindi magre-report ang bata, or we cannot assume na magre-report ang bata dahil hindi naman nila alam kung mali na pala yung ginagawa sa kanya ng mga magulang niya, mga kamag-anak niya. At the same time, hindi rin sila magre-report dahil kilala nila yung mga perpetrators, no? So dito sa referral pathways, we have to make sure na yung mga barangay officials ho natin, yung mga barangay leaders, community leaders, alam po nila kung saan magre-report. At dapat malaman nila kung may mga ganitong nangyayari sa kanilang mismong mga barangay, mga area, no? Pangalawa, yung capacity building. Yung sinabi ni Presidente tungkol dito sa capacity building, marami po tayong duty bearers, no? Meron tayong mga barangay officials, meron tayong mga social workers, law enforcement agents, prosecutors, judges. Lahat po ito kailangan mag-align. Dahil pag meron tayong nakitang gap sa proseso natin, kumbaga magre-report ang isang barangay official pero hindi naman siya mabibigyan ng pansin ng ating mga judges or ng ating mga prosecutors, or meron silang hindi sila familiar sa law, sa pag-prosecute. Kailangan po talaga lahat ay may capacity building or malaman nila kung ano talaga ang magiging proseso. And in line with that, kailangan din po na yung mga experts ho natin sa WCPC, sa mga barangays, ay yung expertise tumaas. And yung turnover rate dapat bumaba. Dahil sa aming experience, kung after na matrain sila sa ganitong bagay, sa ganitong topic, bigla silang i-reassign sa ibang division. So that's one thing we also have to look at, which was emphasized also, no, by the President. And the last pillar na talagang in-emphasize ni Presidente ay yung aftercare services. Yung aftercare services po ay yung pinaka in-emphasize ni President kahapon dahil sabi niya, we have to give them another chance at a normal life. Kung meron po tayo mga shelters, temporary shelters or one-stop shops for the victims, dapat hindi sila tumagal doon. No, yun po yung bilin ni Presidente. At sabi niya, we have to give them back to the community, maybe through a distant relative who can take care of the child. Pero po, yung trauma po, no, yung gustong i-avoid ni Presidente na kung tumagal po sila sa isang shelter, kasama nila yung mga co-victims nila, yung mga children who have also gone through abuse, they will no longer be able to come back to a normal life. So the President was very keen to make his point, to give his point across na we have to find a way na ma-normalize ulit yung mga buhay ng mga bata. And he, again, reiterated throughout the whole meeting na we have to be victim-centric in all our programs, in all our efforts, dahil ang pinoprotectionan ho natin dito ay yung mga bata. And on the other side of that, yung mga perpetrators po ay kailangan talagang parusahan, kagaya po ng sinabi ni Sec. Benhur. So these are the things that the President emphasized. We presented him with the 6 pillars, with an executive order for his study and approval. And hopefully po, pag na-sign na po yung EO na yon, ma-operationalize na po yung 6 pillars, yung aming programa, and we can finally eradicate this gruesome crime. No? It's very hard to think about the children who have gone through the abuse. There are statistics from all over the world that say that maybe 1 out of 10 children undergo abuse before the age of 18. And these children, as they grow, they have to live with the trauma. And this is something that we do not want for the next generation. We do not want for our future and the dreams of these children. No? And we hope that with the team that we set up, with the NCC OSAIC on top of this gruesome crime, we can finally collaborate and work with existing structures to make sure that we have a cohesive, whole-of-nation approach to finally eradicate this crime. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We open the floor. Maricel Halili, TV5.
Hi, magandang umaga po. Secretary, you mentioned earlier that you already coordinated with the United Nations para magkaroon ng policy. Pero do we see other ways on how to run after the consumers? Because I understand mostly mga foreigners ito di ba? So paano sila mapipinalize? Kasi we don't have any control or power over the United Nations. So I wonder if we see other ways.
Actually, in the United Nations, I was there for, number one, it's about drugs, and there was another event. It was a UNODC in Vienna, Austria. Another event was about OSAIC, no? And I believe it was Yusek Lapus of DOJ who was there, and I was also there. And then there was a side meeting where I reiterated that if people are looking at the victims and we made sure that we will protect the victims as instructed by our president, we will surely do that. Maski hindi naman to paramihan, maski isa lang masakit sa dibdib yan It's not about numbers. It's about the crime itself, no? Pero sino bang gumagawa nito? Hindi ba yung consumer? Sino may nagda-download? Di ba yung consumer? Dapat siguro tignan yung aspect na yun. That's why I was asking for those who were present, na baka po pwede that nations should enact laws against consumers. Kasi kung mawawala ang nagko-consume, malaking epekto yung umu-order nito, no? Not only tatlo yan Ito yung victim, yung gitna mo, yung technology provider, yung talk of Meta, etc., Facebook, etc., at yung pangatlo yung umu-order. So, yun ang sinasabi ko. And I repeated that twice. And I think one of the head there, si Miss Martin, yung nasa gitna, she was moving doon nga sa level ng technology providers at nag-agree naman siya dito. And not only that, I believe si General Dana of the UAE, naniwala rin consumers. And because of this, napakaganda ng kanilang gesture that immediately they gave us 21 artificial intelligence programs. And right now our police are undergoing the training here, yung ating mga
And sir, dito sa atin, may naglalobby na po ba sa Senate and Congress to pass a law?
Yes. Actually, we are lobbying right now na sana gawin natin to. That ang Pangulo nga sinasabi, ito pinakamasama, dapat gawin natin ang lahat. So, kung naapektuhan ang bata, dapat lamang, kasi every time manonood ka ng ganyang materyales, parang inuulit mo yung krimen sa bata. So, dapat lang ang bumibili nito, ang gumagamit ito, talaga makulong ng gusto. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Alan Francisco, PTV4.
Hi ma'am, hi sirs. Marami pong nanonood sa atin ngayon, Secretary Abalos. Para lang malinaw, paano yung proseso in case meron tayong kababayan na biktima nga po nito? Pupunta muna sa barangay, anong gagawin ng barangay? Paki-explain, sir.
Actually, kaya nagkaroon ng ganitong grupo to make it more effective. Kasi ang nangyayari nung araw, pupunta sa barangay, magrereklamo kay barangay. Para sa bagay, may mga vowsy naman tayo din, may mga police woman naman tayo roon na nandun. Pupunta sa korte, tapos anong gagawin sa bata, saan mo dadalhin, sa DSW, di ba? Tapos ito, during hearing, paano yung aftercare nito, etc., etc. So with this group, pinagsama-sama na ng lahat ng involved para wala nang lituhan. Pagpunta ka agad sa barangay, papasok na lahat ito. Sama-sama na kami. So, hindi lang yun. Importante, pagpunta mo ng barangay, dapat yung barangay mo, alam niya gagawin niya. Kung hindi siya capacitated, no? Mahirap. Hindi niya alam kung paano kakausapin yung bata. Una-una. No? Umpisahan muna natin. Number one, paano mo nalaman kung ang bata ay biktima? Dapat i-train mo rito yung mga teacher, daycare center. No? I-train mo yung mga barangay na, teka muna, bakit ito yung bilin na nga pala ng ating Pangulo, ito yung pinag-usapan namin kahapon kasi hindi raw magsusumbong ang bata. So dapat tinitrain mo on the ground. At pangalawa, awareness sa publiko. Kasi kung minsan may mga batang tumatahimik, may mga sugat, hindi nagsasalita, lumalakpak. Pero alamin mo rin maigi, baka mamaya naman nagkamali ka, baka talaga may sakit lang yun, di ba? Kawawa naman yung maituro na gano'n. So, dapat matrain kung kanino dadalhin nung mga tiga-barangay ito. So, yun ang actually ginawa namin, pero mas ifo-focus namin ngayon through this group. Tuturuan, at hindi lamang yun, lalagyan namin ito ng gagawing mandatory na ito through the DILG. Ordinance, capacity training, on the ground, grassroots. Pangalawa, andyan naman ang VAUSI desk ng mga pulis. Ganun din ang mangyayari. Pangatlo, pagdating po rito, ayan na, magte-take over na sila sa prosecution, no? To make sure sa fiscal, sa ganito. Pero yung sabi nga ng ating Pangulo, after all of these things, tetestigo yung bata, parang inuulit mo sa kanya eh. Inuulit mo yung experience eh. So how do you protect a child? Sabi nga ng Pangulo kahapon, it is always for the best interest of the child. No, kung saan siya. Kasi kung ilalayo mo siya, para siya pa'y naging kaya dapat daw hangga't maaari, kung meron kang mag-anak to na background mo, ibigay mo ron, o alagaan mo, anuhin ang gusto, or in the same community. So, yan po ang ginagawa po namin ngayon.
Okay. You asked about
Mag-add daw si...
sorry. You asked about how we can tell if the child is being abused
Yes, ma'am.
for house. Yeah. So the government has had its approach. We have a law. And we have the DOJ and the DILG. But in a household level, since we have people watching on TV, ang mga magulang pwedeng i-check ang mga telepono ng mga anak ninyo. Minor sila. It is your responsibility na alamin ano ang ginagawa ng anak ninyo online. Pag yung mga, tingnan nyo kung bakit suddenly may mga GCash or Paymaya sila. Alamin kung saan galing ang pera. So mga ganon, dapat it goes back also to parenting. Of course, the state is doing all we can, but as parents and guardians, responsibilidad din natin yan.
One more thing, no? At ito'y wina-warning ko sa lahat ng mga barangay. Hindi na pwede mag-settle dito. Hindi pwede mag-settle. I'm warning you. Sa lahat ng mga nanonood ngayon. Mga bata ito, biktima. Ito krimen. Hindi ito siya sabihin mo camera na nakatutok na gano'n. Kasi may ganyan thinking eh. Sabihin ba camera lang yan? No. Kay camera, kay ano yan, ito'y krimen laban sa bata. Kaya kung sino man ang makikipag-settle dito, I will make sure makukulong din kayo. I will make sure of that. We will make sure of that. Yan ang proseso. Kaya yan ang utos sa amin ng ating mahal na Pangulo. Thank you.
Can I add on to that?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So sa barangay, once the barangay kasi receives report, simple lang dapat ang ginagawa niya. Dapat ini-endorse na agad sa law enforcement authority. Ang nangyayari ngayon, sabi nga ni Sec, sinasettle na kasi sa level nila. Siguro it's to maintain family harmony or whatever, pero hindi yun pwede. It shouldn't be settled at their level. Why shouldn't it be settled in their level? Because hindi na nakakarating yung OSI complaint sa law enforcement agency. There's no justice that is brought to the child victim survivor, and the perpetrator could still be in the community, potentially victimizing other children. So very simple, they just have to take take mga sa logbook nila. They're not even supposed to interview or make any assessment of the child. Bibigay lang talaga sa law enforcement agency, and the law enforcement agency will take it on from there.
Okay. Jinky Baticados, IBC.
Good morning po. Secretary, si DSWD Secretary Gatchalian, sinabi niya that sometimes yung Facebook, because doon nga nagpo-post, sometimes unresponsive. And we cannot deny the fact na meron po talagang lapses. Ano po ang plano natin dito?
Well, actually, makikipag-coordinate talaga kami at uupo kami with them. This is one of the things na unang-una namin gagawin because it's very important. Hindi pwede maging unresponsive sa ganitong bagay. Dapat this is immediate. So, probably within the week, if not next week, we will sort an audience, not only with Facebook, with all others. This is important. Yung kanina nga palang issue, kasi minor ito eh. Kung ang nagbibiktima ang magulang mismo, ang estedos, ang tinatawag na parents patria doctrine. Ibig sabihin, ito yung tumatayong magulang, ang estado na. Kaya hindi pwedeng, nabiktima na yung bata, ginanon pa ng magulang. tapos yung barangay isesettle pa. Hindi po pwede yun. Hindi talaga po pwede yun. And we are going to document each and every cases from now on. Lahat po ito. No, that's why I have sinabihan ko na ang aming mga women's desk about this. No, na lahat po ito, it should be documented. No? Kasi tama po si Kit, tama po si Miko. Ang masaklap dito, bago pumunta sa police, sinesettle na sa ibaba. Yun ang masama ron.
Okay, Eden Santos, Net 25.
Congratulations muna po kay Sec dun sa maganda niyang sa isang TV po, no? Parang yung background, yung doon,
Alam ko
participation.
yung nahuling police kanina.
Oo. Sir, kailan po natin planong ipatupad yung sinasabi niyong nationwide na seminar and training sa ating mga barangay officials? At saka po, hindi kaya maging yung warning ninyo na yung mga barangay officials naku, tumuloy na lang kayo sa police, baka madamay pa kami dyan. Parang something like that.
Well, hindi naman. Ang sinasabi lang namin, huwag sila mag-aareglo.
Yeah.
Yun lang naman ang point dito. Kasi bata ito eh. I mean, di ba ang bata inaalalayan dahil minor de edad nga. Tapos let's say kalaban yung magulang, ganito. No, they should always think of the best interest of the child dito. Ganito yan kasi meron na kami existing ngayon, no? May ginagawa ang DOJ, may ginagawa ang police. In fact, meron na kaming telephone number. Antayin nyo na lang, i-announce yung magandang naisip ng ating Pangulo na pangalan po rito, no? Unified dito, merong telephone number, etc. But while we are waiting for that, meron namang pansamantalang ginagamit na telephone number ang kapulisan na gamitin nyo rin muna. At gagalaw kami maski wala na po ito, no? Yung capacity building sisimulan na po. Makikipag-meet ako sa Department of Justice, no? Yung mga tao ninyo pwedeng magbaba. At yung ginagawa ng kapulisan na seminar ngayon itutuloy pa rin to. At hindi lang yung gagawin na nga namin itong requirement na ito, mandatory requirement na ito sa LGUs doon sa child-friendly namin aspect. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ivan Mayrina, GMA 7.
Secretary, while we are pushing to capacitate the barangays and the local governments, are we also contemplating on imposing sanctions perhaps for halimbawa barangay officials who may prove to be negligent na these things are happening under their noses? Or for example, yung mga social media platforms, if they turn out to be unresponsive or uncooperative dito sa ating campaign?
Well, ang as much as possible, no. Actually, we have an ongoing capacity building, pero siguro this will be more focused on each and every one of them. But what is important here, Ivan, is that yung kakulangan, no, o kaya tinalikuran ang bata eh. Kasi wala nang pupuntahan yan eh, bata yan eh. Minor de edad yan eh. Tapos tatalikuran mo pa. Hindi po pwede yun. Talagang yan. Talaga may sanction kami dyan. Hindi pwedeng walang sanction yan. We'll see to it. May administrative cases kami file dyan. Pero what is important nga, dahil every barangay may mga VAUSI desk naman kami, kaya nga I will inform immediately yung police talagang to take note of all of these things. Okay. Thank you. Kasi alam mo kung minsan, sa barangay, makakakilala eh. Magkakapitbahay, magkakamag-anak, o isave natin yung pamilya. Naku,
Kaya nga baka magtakipan?
Magtakipan. Yan ang mabigat. At yan madalas nangyayari on the ground.
So pwede ho sila makasuhan doon? Pwede
Yes.
sila madamay?
Hindi pwede kaya nga, hindi pwedeng isettle ito sa barangay.
Siguro,
Hindi pwede. Yeah. Maski magkakamag-anak. Kaya nga doon nga nangyayari yung masaklap dito eh. Yeah, please
siguro to add on to that, I remember one reporter asked me, can you estimate how many OSAIC incidences are underreported? That's exactly it. Kapag hindi na dumadating sa law enforcement agency kasi sinesettle na sa barangay. Those are what we're saying na underreported cases of OSAIC. Sinesettle na sa barangay level.
And you know what? Media has a big role here. Malaki ang papel nyo po rito for awareness and we really need your help, no, to make people aware of what's happening on the ground. Magtulungan lang po tayo dito and every time na may mga gantong project, we will immediately inform you. Thank you.
Chona Yu, People's Journal.
Yan, quick follow-up ma'am, kay yung underreported. Ilan po yung reported na cases ngayon dito sa Pilipinas? What is the trend? Is it alarming po?
I think nasagot namin to last time yung sa, when we say reported kasi, yung umabot na sa Lea. I think General Portia was able to say no kung ilang na report sa kanilang mga cases. I can get back to you on that question kasi meron akong data about that.
Okay. Alexis Romero, Philippine Star.
Kay Secretary or kay Attorney Magsaysay, what specific liabilities sa batas yung kahaharapin ng mga barangay officials na nagpahintulot ng areglo or settlement ng mga kasong ganito?
Before Miko, no, ito, yung
Yeah, that one.
214 cases referrals, I think this is just for 4 years, no? 4 years. Tapos 98 operations conducted, 413 rescued victims, 88 arrested and 38 convicted. Okay, so this is the latest. Can we look at the timeline to? Major, anong years to? Ulitin ko, 214 case referrals from PICACC, 98 operations conducted, 413 rescued victims, 88 arrested, and so far 38 convicted. 2019 to 2024. Okay, this is 2019 to 2024. Miko, please.
To answer po yung question about the liability ng mga barangay officials po, no? Under Section 4 of RA 11930, which is the Anti-Osaic Law. Yeah. Meron po tayong letter E, which is to permit or influence the child to engage, participate, or assist in any form of SESAM. Yung sa tingin po namin na pwedeng pumasok yung mga barangay officials, yung permitting. Kung umaabot na po sa level ng willful negligence na sinasabi po, no? So, kung negligence lang, baka admin case po yan ang magiging liability. Pero kung meron na siyang willful negligence, meaning to say, talagang he's turning a blind eye deliberately na medyo alam niya na may nangyayaring ganon, pwede siya pumasok dito. One step further from that, no, letter K, to knowingly benefit from, financial or otherwise, the commission of any of the offenses of this act. Pwede rin silang pumasok doon if it is proven that they have financial benefits from the crime going on sa kanilang barangay.
At yung mga kaparusahan po tungkol doon?
The heaviest is life imprisonment. So for letters A, B, C, D, E, E yung pinag-usapan ho natin, this act shall suffer the penalty, so violation of this act shall suffer the penalty of life imprisonment or a fine not less than 2 million pesos. Yun po yung penalty para sa prohibited acts po under RA 11930.
Asek, balikan ko lang yung nabanggit ninyong proposed EO about it. Maaari po bang magbigay ng mas marami pang detalye?
Basically po yung binanggit po ni Executive Director Kit kanina tungkol sa 6 pillars. Nagbigay po kami ng detalye kung paano i-operationalize yung 6 pillars. So yun po yung magiging content, no, nung EO na yung 6 pillars i-introduce po sa ating lahat, tapos magbibigay po ng mga detalye kung paano i-operationalize at i-strengthen po yung 6 pillars na yun. And that will be the guide and serve as the Bible of law enforcement agencies, of prosecutors, judges, and all those involved, no, stakeholders and duty bearers of against the crime of Osaic.
Okay. Pia Gutierrez. Oh, before we move on to other issues, let's finish. Okay. Raquel Bayan.
To Secretary Abalos, sir, yung binabanggit niyo pong local ordinance kanina, how soon can we expect that, sir?
Actually, no, bibigay pa lang namin yung MC Rito. Give us about a month. Okay.
And then, sir, yung 21 na artificial intelligence nandito na po sa bansa, sir?
Wala pa, but we're in constant touch with Lieutenant Dina. Ito'y dahil kay yung counterpart ko kasi, yung the Minister of the Interior, his name is Sheikh Saif, no? So naging close tayo sa kanya. isa rito ay si Lieutenant Daina at yung pinaka-head ng Interpol ngayon is also from UAE. No? In fact, ano ko lang sa inyo that we have one case na tinutulungan nila tayo. And this is a sexual predator who's now based in the UAE. Marami na biktima mga bata ito. I'll keep you updated. No?
And
Pero
sir,
mukhang magandang development naman. Yeah.
once na nandito na po sa bansa and magamit na po ng law enforcement natin, gaano po kalaki yung maambag nun sa...
Nako, malaking tulong to. Because ang problema rito, these are all cyber crimes eh. And cyber crimes is a new one. Yung nga pala sinabi ng Presidente kahapon during our command conference, talagang yung kung anong kailangan ng pulisya tungkol dito sa budget or whatever, tutulong lang gusto ang ating mahal na Pangulo. Itong cyber crime. So, itong AI na to, it could filter itong lahat ng report. Kasi kung minsan may cyber patrolling na tinatawag eh. Itong cyber patrolling, titignan mo lahat ng mga web, pati sa dark web, no? Pero kung minsan, bato lang sila ng bato. Kung minsan nagdodoble yan. Kung minsan hindi naman Filipino, mga ibang lahi pala, mukhang Filipino lang, no? So kung mapi-filter at matuturo mo kung saan kaagad dito at hindi lamang yun, dapat maano rin natin yung saan nagbabayad dito, no? Importante sa lahat yung kung saan nagbabayad, no? So these are things na talaga makakatulong ang international community, no? At in fact ngayon, yun ang ginagawa namin, meron kaming collaboration with other countries.
Okay.
Thank you.
Lastly na lang po from my end, Yusek, kanina po you mentioned pinapalakas natin yung communication laban sa USAIC and si SAEM. Ano na po kaya yung mga ginagawa natin? Meron po ba tayong partnership with private sector on this?
Yeah. So, yung sa private sector engagement, that's a different pillar from the improved communications. Sa improved communications kasi, what we realize talaga is that OSAIC is still considered a taboo. No one wants to talk about it, no? So, we want to create madami kaming pinropose na action items. Unang-una, we're gonna have 2 categories for improved communications. One on the macro level and one in the micro level. So we're gonna create catchphrases. We're going to utilize then yung mga government-owned broadcast stations to give us free advertisements. Laban po sa OSAIC. Tapos binanggit din siguro sa mga news, no? May lalabas doon na banner na what hotline or helpline you can call. So it's really just getting it out there. What is OSAIC? Because not many are still familiar with that. Sa private sector engagement naman, ay tulad ng nga sabi ni ASIC Mico and ni Secretary Abalos, it's continuous engagement with the private companies. We want to be able to access their portals para yung mga easy reporting, mga whitelisting of our emails so that we can easily take down mga SISAM online. So ganun po, no? So basically sa improved communications, what we really want to get across is that we don't want to be known anymore as a global hotspot for OSAIC. Sabi nga ni Ms. Daphne kanina, we will become a global leader in addressing OSAIC. So ayun po, that's what we're in constant communication. Yan, we have our spokesperson, si ASIC Mico, also included sa TWG meetings namin was ASIC Daphne to help us understand how can we improve our communications in getting this across.
Mm-hmm. Just want to go back to the to put it into context. You were asking Jinky about what the international community is doing with this. I have been on this fight against OSAIC since 2018. I was associated with the UN agency as a goodwill ambassador, and this was my focus. So since then, other countries have also been preparing legislation. There are countries like the UK, they have an online safety bill. Australia was one of the leaders, and they helped the Philippines as early as 2018. The EU and the US, because we have to deal with the demand and the supply side. Now, to give you context, what the Philippines has done, our anti-OSAIC law, is actually very well cited and very respected. We are a leader in fighting OSAIC. And having the support of the president and prioritizing this is a major push against this fight. I remember the president in the last meeting when he said, if there is one thing that he can, kung isa lang ang magagawa niya, gusto niya ito to end this. Dahil hindi naman pwede, we are on our way to becoming an upper middle income country, and a high income country in 2040, na ang mga bata natin, ang mga anak natin ay vulnerable at talagang biktima ng OSAIC at SISAM. So as early as now, talagang tinututukan ng ating gobyerno and ng private sector Yun. Any more questions before we go on? Other topic na? Okay? Okay, go
Asik
ahead.
Laban.
Pia.
Asik Laban, baka you have details on the raid sa Pogo sa Porac, Pampanga?
I'll probably have to reserve my my briefing when I have more details dahil kaninang madaling araw lang nangyari yung Pogo raid na yon. But we can confirm that there was a Pogo raid up in Clark.
Follow-up lang po kay Secretary. Sir, with the charges filed against Mayor Go for allowing illegal pogos to operate in Bamban, are we also going to look into the possible involvement or kung hindi naman negligence ng mga LGUs na may illegal pogos in their area to make them liable for allowing these illegal pogos to operate?
Actually, ang nangyari nito, nagkita ko ng task force. And this task force found out na there was this cease and desist order coming from PAGCOR. However, hindi sinunod ng alkalde ito ni Mayor Go. Pinapayaan niyang ituloy po rin ang operasyon. No? So dahil dito dinimanda siya at we even requested na for the meantime magkaroon siya ng preventive suspension, which was granted by the ombudsman on the basis that, of course, if he is the mayor, he has influence over the personnel and he has control of the records. Baka ma-compromise. So that is what we were avoiding. So it is on that basis that the cases were filed against her by this task force. No? But what was granted now, of course, was the preventive suspension by the ombudsman. Thank you.
Okay. Daryl Esguerra, PNA.
Hi, sir. To SILG po. Sir, aside from cybersecurity na na-mention nyo kanina, ano pa po yung mga napag-usapan kahapon sa PNP Command Conference and ano po yung mga naging directives ni Presidente po?
Marami, no? Unang-una kasi sa cybersecurity muna, ang aming server kasi ay wala kaming central server. So gusto niya nga pondohan namin ito kasi na-hack din di ba? Yung sa firearms na-hack din, no? So ito'y pag-aaralan. Pangalawa, ang problema kasi namin lalo na sa drugs, basta ang police ay mag-raid, tapos because of technicality, let's say 3 witness rule, madismiss yan, babalikan niyang mga police, didimanda yan. So once ikaw ay police, madimanda ka, gagastos ka sariling pera mo sa abogado, kinakabahan ka pa, suspended ka pa, pending investigation, ayaw mo nang ma-assign pa sa drugs. Ayaw mo na. At nangyayari yan. So, iniisip ni Chief na magkaroon talaga ng isang office that will give free legal aid to deserving, to deserving policemen na kinakailangan. So, we are going to work on that. Sabi ng Presidente, kahapon sa Command Conference, dapat magkaroon ganyan. Tignan nyo, pag-aralan nyo, ES, na magkaroon ng opisina to give free legal aid to our police, no? Pagkatapos, bukod dito, napag-usapan din namin yung mga rescue. Kasi usually ang rescue, ang BFP. Pero sabi nila gano'n, kung may gulo, kung may mga dapat na rescue, you look at your equipments, no? Yung capacity building, dahil kung may mga bagyo, may mga kailangan ka namin. Pangatlo, napag-usapan about downsizing. Kasi ang nangyayari, yung iba nasa office lang, nagkakaroon ng duplicity of work, yung ang report ni Chief PNP, ang sabi ng Pangulo, tama yan, para imbis na nasa opisina yung mga police, at least nasa baba. Importante sa grassroots, nasa baba. So we discussed things about downsizing. In short, talagang tinilig niya, no? Talagang tsinaga niya, inisa-isa niya ang mga problema sa police, no? But natutuwa ako sa sinabi niya that the police is really continually improving, no? Gumaganda ang performance. In fact, kanina nga umaga nag-report din ako, we presented 4 policemen who were involved in kidnapping of foreigners. 4 policemen, the highest is a major. Hinarang nila yung sasakyan dito sa Taft ng 2 motorsiklo. And then kasama nila yung isang nasa likod na van, yung 4 na foreigner, sinubukan na lang i-abduct, nakatakbo yung 2. But in less than 24 hours, I think it's just 15 hours, na-solve kagad ang krimen. No? At lo and behold, mga police ang involved dito. No? At marami pang hinuhuli. So, kung titignan mo yung mga ginagawa ng police, maski yung the other day, yung nakabarel, less than 24 hours na nahuli rin kaagad. No? So, yun ang ginagawa ng police ngayon. On the ground, importante, action kaagad dito. No? Okay, thank you.
Okay, Alexis Romero.
Secretary, can we get more details about the downsizing?
Yes, okay. Ang ginagawa ngayon ni Chief Marbil is this, no? Tinitignan niya yung mga nagdo-duplicate ng trabaho. For example, may sinasabi sa isang community relations, tapos yung function ganun din. Sayang naman pareho lang ng ginagawa. So, pag-isahin nila yung pati mga staff doon. So, nire-review nila each and every department ano yung po pwedeng mabawasan ng tao para mailagay na lang sa field on the ground. Kasi importante yun eh. Yung nasa field, yung mas nakikita ang tao. So, yun ang inano ni PNP Chief. At yun naman ang gusto din masaya ang ating Pangulo tungkol dito. Kasi nga, importante ka talaga yung, sabi nga ng Pangulo, yung neighborhood beat eh. Yung may nakikita kang police on the ground eh. Napakalaking bagay yun. Which brings me to a point na before, sa isang lugar sa atin, I think it's in Muntinlupa, in Barangay Pototan, naglagay kami ng mga, I think, mga 15 o more than 10 policemen. Doon tumira, doon natulog, doon kumain, umupa ng bahay, naging barkada niya lahat. Lahat ng problema ng barangay nakilala niya. Kilala niya kung sinong magulo, kung sinong gumagamit, kung sinong chismosa, lasinggero, kung may problema sa asawa, tumulong siya. Anong problema rito? Puro birth certificate. You know what? After 6 months, ang laki ng binaba ng krimen, even drugs. Police sa barangay program. At yun ang ginagawa namin sa BIDA program ngayon. In fact, sa Iloilo, about 3 days ago, ando si Sap Banak, ang daming dinalang mga community relations Banak, ang daming dinalang mga kapolisyahan, police sa barangay program. Yeah, thank you.
Pag sinabing downsizing, wala naman pong mawawalan ng trabaho.
Wala naman, hindi naman yun. Parang inaano mo lang, nire-assign mo lang. I'm sorry for the term. Ini-reassign mo lang sa tamang akmang duty niya.
So, meaning downsizing yung mga nasa loob para ilabas sila sa
Ilalabas
field.
mo, yes.
Okay.
O kaya yung nagdodoble yung nagdodoble ng trabaho.
Pero
Sayang
definitely
naman.
there will be bodies that might be, scrapped or ma-abolish because of this effort.
Well, ganito lang yan eh. Kung duplicity eh, di ba? Kung duplicity naman, dapat lang. And I think the Chief PNP is on the right track. It must be re-examined. Everything should be re-examined. Oh.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jean Mangaluz, Inquirer.net.
I want to go back to ASAIC for a bit. Kids are usually at school. So, what's the role? Was Vice President and Education Secretary Sara Duterte there in the meeting? What did she say? What's the DepEd's role in battling ASAIC?
Okay. So we had strategy meetings. We conducted 2 strategy meetings to come up with this action plan. So we invited there in si DepEd. Si DepEd has this child protection policy na po, but they are continuously upgrading it, especially now with the passage of the Anti-OSAIC and CSAIM Act. So ang pinaka naging namin is that they will strengthen their committee within the school that is supposed to be composed of the principal. Meron din dapat kasama doon ang isang leya, ang barangay, because as the president was saying, schools are actually one of the ones who are able to see the demeanor of the child. Kung nag-iba yung behavior ng child sa school, biglang naging tahimik, usually very active, naging tahimik siya. So dapat even the teachers should be parang capacitated enough to understand or to have telltale signs na looks like something's going on at home. Now, yung reporting sa school, that also has to be improved, and that was one of actually our action items na po. It's for the improvement of the child protection policy, which the DepEd is actually doing, undergoing in improving that policy. So we're just waiting for that para we can link those first responders ultimately to the LEAs. Yun yung gusto namin gawin, yung mga first responders, which consist of the schools and the barangays, we will link them to the LEAs. So yun yung tatrabahuhin namin.
Okay. I'm getting the sign. I think we're done. Thank you so much, Malacañang Press Corps, for spreading the message. And thank you so much, Secretary Abalos, ED Kit, and ASEC Clavano. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.